Dear Blueair friends, it's really nice to be here to communicate with you. Well, I've been doing what I wanted since 20 years, to help people to get clean air, and that's my passion, and I'm so happy to share that with you. And you probably wonder how it started. Well, it started under Blueair. Blueair and Blue Sky in the Stockholm archipelago. We have 22,000 islands outside of Stockholm. It's a beautiful place. You have blue sky, blue ocean, and I love to be there with my family and my children. But as the fall came, I know I had to bring my kids into the city with this pollution and noise, and I always dreaded that and thought it was terrible. And I was always thinking, how can I do something that is nice to go back to the city, and I can bring some of that from the Stockholm archipelago and the blue sky. So I wanted to do something about it. It seemed an easy task. I was working in a large company with a lot of resources. I tried to convince my colleagues and my friends and bosses, and says like, we need to have clean air in the city. And that was right after I had found a particle counter in my company was measuring the number of particles in the air. And surprisingly enough, it showed over 20,000 particles per liter of air. I was like, it must be something wrong with this unit. I had it, tested it, and brought it to my summer house. And out there, it was like really basically no particles. But in this town and city, it was like really dirty. So then it was like an eye-opener, and I wanted to do something about it. And that I decided to set up my own business and find great people to work with. Together with an engineer, we developed the first air purifier. But at that time, before we started, we didn't have any brand name, didn't have any technology, and were not really so informed about the market. But we were really committed, and we really wanted to make the best possible air purifier ever. Every day, we were working with our engineer at the time, to try to find a way to combine the best of things and develop new things. At that time, most air purifiers I mentioned were very noisy. That was HEPA technology. We learned a lot about electrostatic air purifiers. They don't really clean the air that much, but they're very quiet. So we're trying to look at both of those technologies to try to develop something that has no noise, but clean a lot of air. So what we have done is like looking at those two technologies and trying to develop the best of both of them. One Monday morning, after trying for months, every day to try to find lots of different technologies of putting ionization, high voltage, different filters, different materials, we just found a perfect blend of the best things and new innovations. And we developed at that day what we called today HEPA Silent. It's combining the best things of known technologies. So that's one reason why Blueair has become so famous. On the same time, in parallel processes to do the external design, to the internal design, to do the technology, and like build a beautiful brand, a nice marketing material, and explaining the story. Some people probably think this takes 4 years. But in Blueair, we did this in only record-breaking, making 6 months. And we started to sell. We went knocking on doors and we sold our products, and people liked them, and the early adopters loved it. But as I mentioned, Stockholm was fairly clean at the time, was known as the cleanest capital in Europe. And for us, it was a little bit as selling ice to the Eskimos. And there was no standard for air purifiers, and people didn't really know about them. So we looked for a market. Where do people like and understand air purifiers? And there's a standard, and that was in the United States of America. We launched it there, and it got the best rating for years. We have been having the best possible rated units in the United States. So that was the start. After our success in the US, we had established our brand as one of the best brands in the world. When people in Asia started to look for the best air purifier, they found us, and we started to get a great distribution in Asia, especially in China. This has been the start of the global success of Blueair, which eventually, after 20 years, have made us the market leader for air purifiers in the world.